Thanks everyone for joining today. I'd first like to draw your attention to our cautionary statements, as we will be making forward-looking statements throughout this presentation. So Faraday Copper, the highlights. Our asset, we have one of the largest undeveloped copper projects in the US with over 3.9 billion pounds of copper in the measured and indicated category in a Tier 1 jurisdiction of Arizona. The scarcity of development-ready copper assets provides an excellent opportunity for Copper Creek. Our strategy is through delivery of a preliminary economic assessment in the second quarter of 2023 to demonstrate the economic viability of the project. Further to that, through our ongoing 10,000 meter phase 2 drill program, we're aiming to grow the mineral resource through definition of high-grade zones and step-out drilling, as well as targeting new discoveries in an underexplored district. There are over 400 breccias that have been mapped at surface, and only 35 have been drill tested. From a capital perspective, we're well funded, having recently closed a $40 million Canadian financing. We're supported by three strategic investors, being the Lundin family, Murray Edwards, and Pierre Lassonde. And we believe that our company is a compelling investment opportunity as we're undervalued compared to other U.S. copper projects. As mentioned, Copper Creek is one of the largest developer-owned copper porphyry projects in the U.S. With almost 4 billion pounds of copper and an average grade of about 0.5%. We stack up well to our peer group. Conversely, however, our enterprise value relative to our measured and indicated resources provides a large runway for further value creation. As a corporate overview, we are listed on the TSX under the symbol FDY. Our current analyst coverage is from PI. As mentioned, we recently closed a $40 million financing, and our ownership structure is provided in the top right. Our strategic shareholders hold about 33% of the company, with the Lundins, Murray Edward, and Pierre Lassonde collectively holding approximately 30%. Institutions represent 22% of our holdings, insiders at approximately 3%. So one of the philosophies here at Faraday is bringing a senior company mindset and expertise to the junior world, and that's reflected in the board and management team that we have. Our board comes from a diverse background and skill set, and experience with companies such as Newmont, Goldcorp, Pan American Silver, Matsa, Asarco, Hudbay, and Antofagasta. The management team similarly comes from a strong background of senior company experience, including Newmont, Goldcorp, SSR, and Modine. So where are we? Copper Creek's at the confluence of two major porphyry copper belts, about 8 miles from the old San Manuel town where the BHP Kalamazoo mine operated. It's 100% owned property in Pinal County, Arizona, near mining and service hubs. It's approximately 120 road kilometers from Tucson and 25 road kilometers from San Manuel. There are 2 smelters in the region, and we have excellent access to infrastructure, including rail, power, water, and skilled labor. In addition, we're in the San Pedro River Valley, which, as you can note from the map here, has very limited agriculture. The site is easily accessible by paved roads, paved highways, and gravel roads. In terms of our land position, it looks like a bit of a patchwork quilt, but really the pink, the red, and the purple represents private patented surface rights. The blue is state land, and the yellow or gold is the federal BLM ground. There's no urbanization or residential footprint on our property, no protected national forests, no protected aquifers, and no protected species. The pink portion in the bottom left of the image is critical for us, as this private surface rights offers us the ability for infrastructure placement, including our mill, dry stack tailings, a small stockpile, and waste dumps. In terms of the geology, it's a porphyry system. There's 2 styles of mineralization. There's an early halo vein style porphyry at depth, which offers us the underground opportunity, and breccia style mineralization at surface, which can grade up to 1 to 2% copper and provides us with the open pit potential. Copper is associated primarily with chalcopyrite and increasing with bornite at depth. There's no complex speciation, and there's a very thin oxide veneer. This is a sulfide project. In terms of our mineral resource, it's well supported with over 200,000 meters of drilling. 83% is in the measured and indicated category. We have a little over 450 million tons containing roughly 4.5 billion pounds of copper. One important thing about the project, it's geologically constrained, so the shapes are appropriately controlled. We've done both open pit and underground geotechnical studies that have been incorporated into our resource estimate, and robust metallurgical test work, which indicates we can expect over 92% recoveries in the copper out of the sulfides, a good concentrate grade over 32%. It's a clean concentrate. There's no deleterious elements or certainly anything above penalty grade. And our waste rock studies has indicated a lower potential for acid generation. It's also worth noting that the underground grade is fully diluted. We envisage a bulk underground mining method, and so the waste comes with the ore. So on the screen now is some images of that open pit and underground potential, and what we see is upside due to the limited drilling between breccias and underground. So the image on the top right, you can see the large white space between the two breccia and pit shapes, as well as the white space below the copper prints. And this is primarily due to limited drilling in the area. So we see opportunity as we move forward to further add value through drilling in between the breccias and below the existing breccias. On the bottom right of your screen, similarly, you can see the grade distribution through the porphyry. The keel has been relatively well drilled, and you can see the high grade over 1% core through there. The American Eagle has further drill spacing, and so we see the opportunity to further grow that underground through the drill bit and look to grow those high grade cores, as well as hopefully grow the footprint to drill in between the gap right now between Keel and American Eagle. Our base case PEA, which we expect out in the second quarter of 2023, envisages a 30,000 ton per day mill with approximately 14-year open pit mine life, transitioning into a bulk underground mine for another 20 years. So we completed a 6,000 meter phase one drill program in June of 2022. And so this is a cross section of some of the highlights. In drill hole 7, what we've seen is as it drilled through the underground shape of Keel. So a few exciting things here. Some of the highest grades that we've seen, 19 meters at over 4% copper, occurred below the existing footprint. We also saw better grades throughout the blocks within the footprint, and we saw additional mineralization to the west of the footprint, providing further upside that we can unlock through the drill bit. Similarly, as we drilled into the open pit area, what we saw was grade extending beyond the current pit shape that was used to constrain the mineral resource estimate. We saw grade within the pit shape that was above the block grades. And we also saw grade, if you look at the top right of the image, where we're obtaining grade that's currently demarcated as waste. And so the opportunity to bring more metal into the mine plan and further reduce our strip ratio. And so right now we're underway with a phase 2 10,000 meter diamond drill program that has 3 aims. 1, expanding the current mineral resource. 2, better delineation of the high grade mineralized zones, and also reconnaissance drilling on new targets. So initial results from our phase 2 program. This one was particularly exciting. We intersected massive copper sulfide below our current open pit resource shell, 15 meters at almost 11% copper. And so what we see here is the high grade core through the copper prints breccia seems to indicate continuity of mineralization at depth and remains open. So with additional drilling, we hope to grow that high grade core and further increase the metal value within the pits. Here's another result from our phase 2 program. And again, this is in the copper night breccia, which forms part of the pit with copper giant, copper prince, and copper duchess. And again, we're seeing that continuity of high grade mineralization and remaining open at depth. We recently had a team complete a structural model over the property, which explains the distribution of breccias. And so if you kind of think about it like an egg box, there's certain blocks that have been uplifted and certain blocks that have been downlifted. And where the blocks have been uplifted, we see the concentration of breccias exposed at surface. And where blocks have been downthrown, the breccias are undercover. And so right now, we have a team busy completing geophysical work, soil sampling and otherwise, and informing those generative targets. One of our priority targets is the Rum Gin area up to the northwest of the current mineral resource, and it'll be an exciting time as we start to test those targets. It's worth noting that over 90% of the historical drilling has been done within the resource area, and so we see a lot of potential to not only grow the resource, but also make new discoveries on this property due to the limited drilling outside of the resource. And so turning to ESG, as part of our senior company approach, one thing that's at the forefront for us is technical excellence in the work that we do. When a mining company loses its social license to operate, it's often due to technical failures, whether it be tailings dam bursts, underground flooding or otherwise. And so important for us is that we utilize empirical evidence to support all of our key technical decisions. We have a mantra for good governance. All of our policies are available on our website and free to download. And we have a focus on health and safety and a zero harm work environment. We want to be responsible stewards of the environment. We've commenced ongoing baseline and monitoring programs, U.S. waterways mapping. We're installing a weather station and are applying for our dust permits. And we're evaluating clean energy alternatives for power supply to the eventual mine. We've held initial open houses with the 3 key communities around our project and have received very positive feedback. We've done stakeholder mapping and have had respectful engagement with the local tribes. We've donated to local schools and community groups and want to be a supportive member of the community. We have a positive workplace culture where we're respectful, ethical, diverse, inclusive, engaging, and rewarding. It's also worth noting that as part of our technical excellence, our full drill hole database for Copper Creek is available for download on our website, so you're free to remodel what we've modeled. And so in summary, at Faraday Copper, we're developing a U.S. domestic source of copper. We believe that with the scarcity of development-ready assets, a large undeveloped mineral resource, and the significant exploration upside on the property, it's a compelling investment opportunity. And with the management team, board, and financial backing, we're excited to move this asset forward and create value. I'd like to thank everyone for listening in and look forward to delivering value for our shareholders. Thank you.